Like, just shut your eyes for a moment and feel that, where war is just no longer a technology that humanity uses. Wow, right? This is the peace room, and we are at war for peace. And Barbara Marx Hubbard, she talked to the UN and proposed a peace room, and we here now are the peace room. So that is something we can each celebrate and just hold in our hearts and hold with our hands together, that we are this peace room together now.
So as I resonate the code is a code to actually set the stage for today's message, for today's reflections. This week's evolutionary love code. What does God need from me at all times, and especially right now? God needs me to pray. God needs me to partner. God needs me to be God. God needs me to be human. God needs me to be an atheist. God needs me to trust. God needs me to cry, and God needs me to laugh. What does God need from me at all times, and especially right now? God needs me to pray, to be a partner. God needs me to be God. And God needs me to be fully human. God needs me to be an atheist, and to trust, and to cry, and to laugh. So with that, it's my pleasure to turn my word to you, beloved Christina.
Thank you so much, David. I often feel like I need to cry when I'm reading the Dharma recap, because it's just so full of the pain and the beauty of the world and of the cosmoerotic Dharma. And so I really appreciate this code. And thank you, Shahat, for bringing us all into this open-hearted space. And I just want to invite us all to weave those open hearts together and to really imagine the way that we're each touching into each other across the entire globe, because that is who we are. And there is so much intimacy between us each. So, hello, everyone. I am Christina Tehel, and I am a devoted student of Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Marc Gafni. So thank you, Dr. Marc and Barbara, and to everyone in this community. So first, I'll be exploring peace, pleasure, and the evolution of love. And then I'm going to invite us all into a contemplative writing practice. So you might want to have paper and pen handy, or just your computer, either one, so that you can engage in a few minutes of enhanced sense making through writing to our cosmoerotic Dharma, and to co-create with each other and with reality. So, how many of us ever thought we would be in a conversation like this, where what we do, our sense making, is part of a fabric, part of a process that actually evolves love, part of the actual process and fabric of the universe herself, where our sense making is activism, where our intimacy is activism. How many of us ever thought that? I certainly am completely surprised by where my life, where reality has taken me, and so deeply honored, as I just have so much love for humanity and for the democratization of enlightenment. So, as Dr. Gafni says, the evolution of love is to be able to see and to tell this new story, this shared story of value rooted in first principles and first values, and to speak for the future, to hold all the future generations in our hearts, in our imaginations, in the actions that we take day in and day out, in the way that we treat each other, in the way that we step into holding the Dharma, like publishing a great library, like coming together here every Sunday. So many people are engaged in activism in multiple forms. Like, for instance, Shahati has been bringing resource to refugees from Ukraine that are now living in Amsterdam. And for instance, each of us that are holding the space of one mountain, many paths, and doing things like transcribing or editing, like Joycey or Timothy Paul or Elena. And there's bake sales going on. I mean, all the ways that we are loving each other in this world and giving this opportunity for the evolution of love to thrive. So, how do we do this sense making that allows us to create a world where war is not ever a possibility again? So at this moment between utopia and dystopia, at this moment of existential risk and potentially catastrophic risk, how do we find our way? And to have that question just burning inside of us, where we don't have to ever answer it, and yet we're always answering it, but it is alive inside of us, living us, and we are living each step through that. How does Ukraine or Syria or the Congo or Yemen or Afghanistan call us forward? What needs to be done now, immediately, in this very second and in these very days? And as I said already, no less important, how do we do the sense making that allows us to create a world where war is no longer a possibility? Like, just shut your eyes for a moment and feel that, where war is just no longer a technology that humanity uses. Wow, right? This is the peace room, and we are at war for peace. And Barbara Marx Hubbard, she talked to the UN all those years ago and proposed a peace room. And we here now are the peace room. So that is something we can each celebrate and just hold in our hearts and hold with our hands together, that we are this peace room together now. And peace means wholeness in Hebrew, which means we have to include, and we do include, as many perspectives as possible, but not in a way that reduces us to a perspectival madness, as our friend Ken Wilber likes to call it. We need a hierarchy of value. And we are going to do this not just for each other, for the few thousand people in our community around the world who are gorgeous, and we are gorgeous. And I think of Geo in Hungary, and Ujis in Latvia, and Jacqueline in the UK, and Gabby in Austria, and Kirsten in Germany, and Renee in Canada, and Veronica in Costa Rica, Timothy Paul Are in Seattle, and so many more. We are a unique self symphony. We are working for the democratization of enlightenment, a global community taking responsibility to be part of the heartthrob of the revolution of love. Wow, right? Just let that just ooze through you and between us and in the spaces between us across this globe as we are together, literally and virtually right now. And we are enacting this new world story of ending the global intimacy disorder. So, as Dr. Gafni shared with us last week, and often, pleasure is ethics, and it is only a new world story of value rooted in first principles and first values, that can change the trajectory of catastrophic and existential risk. Only us telling the new story and all the other humans on this planet that can actually take us home and evolve love. So we participate directly, whether it's through these gatherings, whether it's the way we love our family, whether it's inside of our prayers or our palace of imagination. We are clearly in the evolution of love as sense-making activists, as the eros of the cosmos. Wow, we are going to find our way through. Humanity is going to find our way through, and we are creating a beacon of possibility through the cosmo-erotic Dharma to move beyond the thicket of contradictions and finding our way. So, as the very hub and heart of fierce commitment to the evolution of consciousness and the evolution of love, we are holding in our sense-making the reality of war the world over. We are holding the people directly around us. We are holding the trees and the animals, and we are holding our own bodies, and we are holding God. Yes, together, here, all around us, we are holding God, and we are taking responsibility that we are at the heart of the spiral of evolution. So again, to love means to see. So as we open our eyes and open our hearts and continue to live in this energy that Shahati so beautifully set this intention for today, we don't split anything off, nothing. We include everything and everyone. And as Master Dogen said, enlightenment is intimacy with all things. So now, from all of that, let us step into our writing process. And so for 4 minutes, and I also, just so folks know, lead a weekly writing class to the Evolutionary Love Code every Monday at 1:00 Central, and members get the email to with the Zoom link and such. So I highly recommend that if you're not already getting that email, that you sign up for membership and contribute ever more to this community and join us writing each week to the Evolutionary Love Code. But for now, we're going to do a short 4-minute writing practice. And Jamie is going to post the prompt into the chat box now. And it's all about just letting yourself write to whatever comes up, whatever you've been experiencing here today. And you can share these writings with me. You can put them in the chat box. And I'm also going to ask a few people to come on. So think of it like a meditation and just write whatever flows. And also, David, if you could put on the song that we were just listening to at the beginning for a little background music, that would be great. So the prompt is, what we do today, our sense making, is part of the fabric of a process that can actually evolve love. So here we go in our writing exercise. And David, if you could put on that music, that would be great. And Jamie, thank you for posting the prompt in the chat box. So as we come to the end of the 4 minutes, you can wrap up whatever words are flowing out of you. Thank you for stepping into this contemplative writing practice. And I'm going to ask a few people to come on and speak what they wrote. Sorry about that. So, Jamie Long, someone who has been part of the writing group before, and I invite you to share what you've written, and David's going to spotlight you.
Thank you, Christina. What a radical powerful reality that is the invitation to the human being. How will you participate in the evolution of love? How does love itself need my openness? And I feel this in my body because of my heart. What happens when I open my heart? Immediately, people and the universe's beauty overwhelms me, and I fall in love like it is the first time. That is all we have to do. Open our hearts.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That is all we have to do, open our hearts. Just honor the words that you wrote. And often, or always in our contemplative writing class, we always reflect on each other's writing. And that's a beautiful part of the process of being witness. Today, we won't do that because of time. But now I invite Becca to read what she wrote and for David to spotlight her.
Thank you. Yes, how I participate in the becoming world that we are all seeing of loving interactions. Listen, open my heart, walking into my future self, into this peace room, present here now. The future, stepping into the future of humans in love, imagining the smiles there, imagining the relaxed eyes of humans who have accepted their kindredness with all beings here on the earth. Yes, yes, loving each other, loving the standing people, those trees, wingeds, four-legged friends, swimmers, visualizing being with this world. I am here. It is now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Becca. Yes, yes, yes. Loving the standing people, the trees, being with. So now I invite Ujis to share what he wrote with us. And Ujis, if you're sharing in Latvian, you can read it in Latvian and English, but it's totally up to you. So I turn my word to you, Ujis.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everybody. What to do and how to do? There is this deepest dimension of myself where love lives, inside and outside. First, I asked myself, who am I? And where is my attention? And what is my intention? I want more than anything else to evolve in love, intimacy, and consciousness. What are my daily activities I choose to evolve in love and consciousness? Deep, silent meditation connects me to the inside of inside, letting me to see with eye of my heart and move from thoughts to feelings, from feelings to being. There is aliveness inside. Secondly, I choose field of love outside me. It is my becoming dimension. I write love letters with Christina on Mondays, participate in places where our loving brothers and sisters of evolutionary family come together. It is Sunday, Holy One Mountain, Many Paths gatherings. It is Holy of Holies with Dr. Marc. It is Dharma Circle with Chehat and Claire, and Dharma study courses groups with Christina, David, and Jamie. Working together with Jacqueline, Krista, and Jamie in video editing. Love field evolves, then I am in it as much as possible. Regularity and intensity. And then this flash of love emerges and reflects in my daily other areas of life. I trust in love. Love is my religion. I love you, beloveds. Thank you so much for being, becoming, and evolving. Deep bow and gratitude to all of you.
Wow, right? To hear the unique qualities of the Dharma through each of these individuals, and to hear this happening across the globe in Latvia, in California, in Pennsylvania. So I thank each of you for stepping into that and sharing the deepest dimensions of yourself. And I thank each of you for being here. And I now turn my word to David.
Friends, as we let our prayers pour in, we're going to hear from Barbara to speak about prayer from her unique, beautiful, gorgeous perspective. So I turn my word to you, Barbara.
Great prayers. And I love the phrase, ask and it is given. Knock and doors are open. Jesus didn't say, ask and it will be given, or knock and doors are being opened, will be opened. The ask is itself a declaration of power, of intention, of passion. And since the universe is responsive to request, that ask, each person's ask right now, to take a moment to experience it as going into the intentionality of the process of evolution. And I'd like to make a meta context for all of this, as I am working with Marc on a book called Evolutionary Spirituality, of which this church is the first church to be fully an expression of evolutionary spirituality. Here is the awesome truth of the billions of years of evolution, of which we are an immediate expression. It starts in consciousness itself, in the field. And the moment the Big Bang came in, consciousness became consciousness force. This is Aurobindo's language. Consciousness force began creating everything with the most awesome supramental genius. From the simplest entity, whether it be a quark or an electron, a proton, a cell, a multicell, the DNA is awesomely intelligent, all the way on up to the rock of Earth. Now, if you saw that rock and you came from some other galaxy, it didn't look very promising. And what came is a little DNA that connected with other DNAs and so on through the beginning of the biosphere, the fish, the animals, the humans, and now us. So let's take that story and get in touch with the core of the spiral being consciousness force of divine intelligence. And let's take a moment right now of allowing the realization that that prayer that we just gave, that intention for what each of us need, want, and express, has the power of the core of the spiral of supramental genius in it. Just let that sink in for a moment. Ask and it is given. Knock and doors are opened. I'm asking at the level of the intention of creation that has, in this particular moment of history on this planet, created co-creators. We were created in the image of God, and creators we are becoming. And let's take that seriously as an expression of the evolutionary church. the New Thought movement has tried to say God is indwelling in every one of us and God creates by our intention. And that is the large New Thought movement. But they don't bring in the billions of years of evolution, nor do they bring in that we are at the next stage of evolution and that the internal impulse of creativity in each one of us is moving us to a new dimension of expression of creativity. And why is that? Because our species has gained powers of gods. Our species, not only have we developed spirituality and social evolution and democracy, but we've developed powers of gods. Nanotech, biotech, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, robotics, space travel. That's just the beginning. Every one of us is unique as who we are. It is no longer feasible for us to be declared this race or that religion or this type of sexuality or that type of creativity because we're all unique. And the uniqueness that we all are is coming from the source of creation or the supramental power or the core of the spiral that is bursting out into the evolutionary church for real for the first time, as far as I know. That means to say the evolutionary church is the vehicle in which the core of the evolutionary spiral is bursting through the hearts, minds, and souls of its members who are being affirmed in their capacity as co-evolvers of their own lives and of the lives of democracy and the lives of the world at the time of the existential risk. Here's my thesis. The reason that nature creates these terrible risks, as happened 5 times before in mass extinctions, is to create evolutionary drivers of such enormity that the species involved have to evolve or die. That's happened in the past. Billions of species have gone extinct. Now we are the species first who's aware of this. Of the ones that came before us on this planet. And we have been hearing that we could go extinct if we don't do what? Attune to the core of the spiral, which is spirit alive in us. And I would like to make another declaration, Mark and everybody else, that the declaration of the evolutionary church of co-creation is to incarnate the impulse of evolution, leading to higher creativity, greater love, and more synergistic order. That we are exponents of the core of the spiral. We are incarnating the billions of years of genius. Wow. And when we are aligned with spirit inside us and with one another in love, for the purpose of the evolution of our culture, our world, our life, the core of the spiral is saying yes. This is not just a personal yes from each of us, great as that is. It's a collective yes to the next stage of evolution in the first evolutionary church of co-creation. And since the universe is responsive to request, I am declaring that it is happening through us now. And that what we have called for here, we can take in the most awesome scale of that the universe has awaited for groups of people to do this, because without groups of people doing this, the universe cannot be itself except through us. So with that declaration that we are a church, an evolutionary church of co-creation, incarnating the genius of the impulse of evolution in each one of us, and that which we are declaring, uniting with, praying for is now given the source of power. And as we believe it, so it is done. Thank you.